How about a vegetable soup with basil and Chilean sea bass? A lot of basil. We'll dice it up, we'll sweat up the vegetables, we'll put the water, and then towards the end we'll put the fish, the basil, thicken it slightly with a little cornstarch. It'll be a very tasty soup. We'll put a little bit of oil in there, not much. We're going to sweat up the vegetables. It looks like a lot, but watch what happens once everything starts to cook. They shrink. And why do they shrink? Because they're loaded with water. Maybe the carrots don't shrink as much, but the onions certainly do, the mushrooms. We'll sweat this up. And I'll wait a few minutes for the tomato so I can get some flavor out of these veggies. Just start off with a high flame. This only takes a couple of minutes. And the soup you don't have to season anything that's in here now. It's not like a piece of meat. This will be seasoned when it's all done. And we're going to give it a little body, so it's not real watery looking. It's just a little cornstarch and water mix. And you see how much nicer it is when you eat it. It stays in your mouth a little bit longer, like a sauce that's thick. And we're going to add the water to this. Give it about a 20-minute simmer. Add the fish after we put the cornstarch, because the fish will take about a minute and a half to cook, because the pieces are small dice like so. And the basil I'm going to chop up rough, so you see it in the soup. It'll be very tasty. Actually, I should call this a basil vegetable soup because of the amount of basil I'm putting in there. But then again, basil is a delicious item. And so are all these vegetables. They just give off a flavor. And we'll throw in there a couple of bay leaves. Instantaneously, the bay leaf gives off flavor when it hits the heat, especially when they're dry, but it's a fresh one. When you open up the lid of bay leaves or dry thyme or anything, and you can smell it immediately, you know that it hasn't had a long shelf life. That's good enough. Now we're going to add the rest. And to quicken things, we'll put a lid on this. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to add the water right now. And we're adding cold water, not hot water. So we're going to go with a quart and a half because that's going to cook down a little bit. And then we should wind up. This is going to be a nice heavy soup. A lot of vegetables. See, that's perfect right now for the amount of liquid to solid. So when it cooks down, it'll be nice and thick. So bring it to a boil, simmer it, and just check one item in there for tenderness, which is the carrot. That takes the longest. When that's done, we'll continue. I'm letting this cook down to about here, like where I started with the 1 quart. So I'm not putting a lid on it. And if I have less liquid in there than what I need, it's always easy to just add a little water, but you can't take it out once this is finished. Now I'm back down to the 1 quart. It's reduced down to that. And in here I have 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and 2 tablespoons of cold water. And you just work it smooth with your finger. And this will thicken the soup a little bit. I might have too much, so you just go slowly. But I didn't think that 1 tablespoon would have been enough. And this way it stays nice and clear. That's good. Notice how the vegetables are just laying in there, they're not sinking. Now we put the fish. This will take about 2 minutes. And then I'm going to add the salt now, and pepper or hot sauce, whichever you prefer. Going to add my salt and pepper mix. It's always nice to have that. Put the amount of pepper mixed with salt, you taste it. If it tastes good and it has enough pepper, that's what you use to season things. Sea salt and pepper. We'll just start off with 1 teaspoon. And that's how I'm going to end it, because I have to eat this. But I will tell you now that this amount went down the wrong pipe. I'll add 1 more, because that's quite a bit of soup, and that's plenty for me. Raise the flame a little. I want to see it boil. And then another few seconds, I'm going to get the basil and just lay it right in there. As you see, I left it in large pieces. It's nice to see it in the soup, not chopped up fine. And adding it now keeps the basil green. Just lower it That's nice and heavy. And that's it. We'll put some in the soup plate, and we'll take a good look at it. I'll taste it, but I'll have to wait a minute. It's too hot for me. Oh, let me see. That's just what I wanted. Basil vegetable soup, just flavored with a little fish. I hope you enjoy. It's filling and it's healthy. What more can you ask for?